Good morning, good morning, good morning again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. Let me take a drink here. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual disclaimers and some bragging rights, because I just got this in my groceries. I highly recommend it if you like curry. I showed some of my goodies. This is why I love living in the city. Oh, this is, here. It's called a korma. It's a simmer sauce that you use for the meats that goes into the curry. It's a beautiful thing. Tastes so good. My dinner is gonna be awesome. Sorry, autistic joy moment. Oh yes, and I'm gonna show these off. I know you've been seeing them. I wash them regularly now because these Friday the 13th resting lounge pants are awesome. But besides the point, right? Show and tell's over for right now. All right, folks. So we are going to go back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do the usual disclaimers and a wee bit of a rant. No, I managed to avoid looking at my TL before I went ahead and did this video. Small favors, right? This rant is on Dr. Israel. Something I want you to realize about not just him, but most of the practitioners of ABA as I came to know it. It's this overriding idea that they always assume that they know what's causing the behaviors. They base their idea of what they think they know off of neurotypical kids. In particular, the reasons why a neurotypical younger child will throw a temper tantrum. Because that's what they feel like meltdowns are. When in actuality, they are something completely different. I'm not throwing a hissy fit because I didn't get what I want. I am having a complete meltdown because I'm completely overwhelmed. And I can't get myself away from the situation. That's the difference. And because they assume that they know everything, they came up with an entire program to try to teach better behaviors. Maybe that helps in some areas, but there's some other parts of that program that are extremely traumatizing and bullshit. Matter of fact, because they've built their program off of a completely bullshit premise, because once again, it's neurotypicals protecting their own shit, in particular, their neurotypical children shit, onto us. Which means things don't actually get better. We just become real good at acting. And by the way, folks, acting 24/7 is exhausting. Okay? It's not just 13-hour days that are already exhausting for people who are actually in the profession. Imagine you're one of us and you're never allowed to break character. Ever. 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 And if they ever catch you breaking character, that's when the aversives come. Whether it's completely denying you attention when you are suffering horrifically from sensory overload to the point that you actually cause self-harm. Because yes, I've fucking seen it. They'll be like, it will eventually stop if you ignore them. It's that old adage, it will go away if you ignore it. It's not how any of this works in real life, folks. Yeah. I wanted to bring that up because he's going to keep using it. Most people are going to keep using it to defend ABA. Otherwise, they're out of control. Tell me, folks, how much of a sacrifice do we have to make in order for you to feel better about yourselves? Why do we have to sacrifice our own mental health and sense of self-worth in order to make you more comfortable? Yeah. It's not me requiring society to walk around eggshells around me. It is me telling society that I shouldn't have to walk around on eggshells around them. There's a big fucking difference there. Alright, now that rant is over, to the disclaimers. In the description box, you're going to find the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and don't forget to share it on all your social media. We also have NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRCs has the balls to see through with their threat. We got the pertinent links to the Agape boarding school situation as well. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri, that takes in so-called troubled male teens, that has and pending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it. All of these claims have been substantiated by the hard evidence gathered by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. Sorry, folks, phlegm. I don't have an edit. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI. The other, a doctor who's still on the premises with full access up the boys, is staring down multiple counts that have been substantiated, again by the hard evidence gathered by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and ER documents, I might add, of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault with the boys there. We got a brand spanking new Attorney General who will not answer anyone, literally anyone, who comes to ask about what's going to be done with the Agape boarding school case. And you got a governor hyped up on a power trip from hell. So please share all those articles. Don't forget to share and sign the change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. We got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. We also have a link to Jennifer Masumba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses and a clip out of the 2002 ordeal undergone by Andre Collins. So, all that. All right, folks. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you do have young children present, please go ahead and use your headphones, all right? All right. This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and talk about dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this channel, parental supervision is very obviously advised. Trigger warning, we are about to descend once again into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear lies. You're going to hear fucked up pseudoscience masquerading as treatment. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, enough ableism and bigotry to circle the globe a few thousand times, and just out and out stupid. So, be prepared for that, alright? So, I'm going to prep you for this because once again, we're going through another incident from an individual who has not given their consent for their personal information be used in such a manner, which he's going to try to use shock and awe. He's going to give you an insane scenario, a really bad one, as bad as he can, because he's going to try to use it to shock you into compliance with his insanity. For those who may be lulled into this, I ask you to consider, no matter how severe the situation is the answer to, yeah, I stopped them from harming themselves. Because now I harm them instead. It's still logic that doesn't logic, right? So just be prepared for that. And doctor, for you who sit there and say, nobody has the bravery to confront us on all corners of our treatment, I have. I'm going to keep doing so until your school is closed down and goes the way of the dodo. Okay? Anyways, don't challenge me. Because I'm more than willing to go toe-to-toe with you, you sick fuck. Moving on. A teenage girl had made numerous homicidal attempts, targeting both staff members and other students. You're not going to ask what's causing it, doctor? No, she's just homicidal. There is no reason. There's always a reason. Whether it's something psychologically wrong, or whether this individual has been bullied past their breaking point. Because guess what, boys and girls? I've, once again, seen it. Okay? These behaviors don't just come out of nowhere, no matter what these bastards try to tell you. Behavior is always communication, particularly if you're nonverbal. And these bastards will not provide you with any reasonable accommodations to be able to communicate with them in a way that they understand. Then you're going to use the only avenue left to you, aren't you? Yeah, makes sense when you think of it that way, doesn't it? But let's go on here. She was so feared that no program in Massachusetts or anywhere else in the country was willing to accept her and provide treatment. Is that a fact, doctor? Let's talk about my state for a minute. Even though, let's face it, they have a less than stellar track record. You know what it's called, doctor? The tranq shot. They've been used in institutions and hospitals and in prisons for decades. You really going to tell me that none of these places had access to that form of medicine? Because I call bullshit. I've worked in the field. There is emergency stashes in the event that someone has gone to such an extreme that it's going to take a tranq shot to bring them down. It's sure as hell a lot more humane than the fuckery that you get up to. Know what I'm saying? But he doesn't want you to know about that now, does he? Or actually, he may want to, but he's going to sit there and try and tell you why his shock device is somehow more humane than just getting a shot. Yeah, that. The severity and dangerousness of her case was so well known among professionals that psychologists and psychiatrists were unwilling to be involved in her case. Bullshit! I call bullshit. Because guess what, doctor? I worked in the field, not as a provider, but as someone who actually had more authority than the providers, who came in as an individual who was on the side of the patient. Guess what? I never dumped a single employee. I never dumped a single consumer. No matter how quote-unquote severe they were, I never dropped them. And I always found them a program, along with their social workers, their doctors, and their psychiatrists. To sit there with your whole case and sit there, but no one would ever take her. It's bullshit. Okay? You never dealt with anyone as severe as these kids. Bullshit. Yes, I have. Bet your ass I have. I never dropped a single consumer, even once, no matter how severe their behaviors were. Okay? Ever. Those who come through the state who would be taking the intake done so that we could get them into one of the programs out here, never one of them has ever been refused. No matter how severe they are, the program they eventually got put into did not expel them. And they didn't use torture either, doctor. You want to know what they used? Common fucking sense. Which I know is a rare commodity these days, but Jesus fucking Christ, just try. I don't know. Maybe out there in Massachusetts, you all are the special level of snowflakes who are unwilling to treat people because you're scared. You're so afraid. This person might kill me. Dude, I've spent my entire good majority of my life with people trying to kill me, okay? It's not a new thing to me. I went through hell as a child. Oh, looks like he's going to try to attempt again. Must be Tuesday. I went to a severe fucked up childhood, doctor. I dealt with individuals very similar to my stepbrother, in which they were completely out of control. Okay? We good? Okay. Because you know what, doctor? In spite of that, I did not turn them away. These places did not turn them away. And when they got out of control at the beginning of things, did they go and use a shock device? They used a trank shot in order to get the individual to calm down. And they would work with psychiatrists and psychologists, which modern technology provides a way to do that without putting the doctors in danger, which was around, folks, in 2010. I know this because I started working for the state in 2008 when it was already being utilized for the specific cases like this that he's bringing up, where nobody's at threat. Okay? Spare me the bullshit, doctor. It may have been in its infancy at the time, but prompter to prompter, interactions between patients and their psychiatrist and psychologist teams was a thing. So please spare me the bullshit. You can't be cheaper than Missouri because this place is kind of fucked. If you are actually saying your state is acting cheaper in regards to these individuals in these situations than Missouri, I don't even know how to help you at that fucking point. Because goddamn, I live in hillbilly hell, and that they were already utilizing that during that time. JRC was willing to provide treatment to this young woman because it was confident with its intensive behavioral program and necessary the GED and other needed procedures, including behavioral rehearsal lessons, which the MDRI rejects too. Yes, you fucking psychopath! Think about this. They're taking this girl who was so severe nobody would touch her, right? And their idea is, we're going to have those bizarre behavioral lessons where somebody will jump up and grab her and deliberately trigger her violence so that they can shock her and teach her that it's wrong. The fuck is wrong with you people? Because you know how that kind of plays out if this person is as severe as you say? Allow me to enlighten you. You're going to get your ass stomped. How do I know this? I lived with that guy. Decided I was going to fight one time. Ask me how well that went. Yeah. Responding to violence with more violence only spawns more violence. It's logic 101. Anyways, it could succeed in this young woman's treatment. Yes, we're going to traumatize her. This is this whole idea, by the way, that's also prevalent throughout the teen industry. This whole scare them straight bullshit that is actually completely fucking traumatizing to the individuals who go through it. It's massively fucking abusive. It's treating little kids like they're full-grown men who's enlisting for the armed forces. These kids didn't write a blank check to Uncle Sam. These kids are too young to be able to be going through something like that. They are not mature enough yet, okay? This is insanity. Complete insanity. And guess what, doctor? Those armed forces don't do your bizarre psychotherapy. JRC succeeded so well that the young woman was able to graduate from JRC to a less structured program and now attends a local college. Again, I will raise you, Jennifer Masamba, who you said would never be able to do such things, who's now a member of Mensa. Okay? You're going to have me believe that it's because of you and your bizarre psychosphere that this happened. No, doctor, I'll tell you, this is my challenge. That wasn't because of you, it was in spite of you. And by the way, doctor, speaking as an autistic who has a college degree, college degrees can sometimes, with us, not be worth the paper they're written on. Because we live in an ableistic world where if they know what you are, they don't care how many degrees you have, they're still not going to let you into your field. I know this because I've never been let into the one that I studied for. And I applied for it, folks. I got some pretty damn decent grades in my graphic arts classes and the rest of the classes, and to this day I've never been hired in my field. Many other autistics are the same. So, it's not quite the whole pound your own chest at how good you are thing that you think it is, doctor. Those kids that do go to school, do you know how many soldiers who suffer from severe PTSD went to college and got degrees, doctor, but can still barely fucking function? Because I know quite a few of them. My brother knows quite a few of them. My stepdad, too. Okay? When they do succeed, it's not because of you, it's in spite of you. Now let's wrap this up in a bow, shall we? And call it a day? Dr. Matthew Israel would have you believe that because of these severe cases and his insanity psycho circus he calls treatment, that these kids are all of a sudden better. It's a lie. And a very provable one, I might add. Here's the facts. Many of these kids he's so successful for end up living at home with their parents, even after they get their college degrees. These kids still have those GED devices that are now under the control of their parents. So what does that tell us about the actual success of the treatment? It means zero, doctor. That's not progress. Real progress, when you live in reality and not fantasy land, is to bring these behaviors to a bare minimum to the point that the person can function without being tortured. Like myself. Like Andre the Collins. Like Jennifer Masamba. The very two individuals that you said would never be able to do so. I'm going to go ahead and close on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.